There we go. Go.
Oh, we're good. Okay, that was out of nowhere. Um, this is the first of numerous YouTube shows that we're now creating. So we're gonna have some that go to YouTube, some that go to our podcast, and kind of just gonna wing it like that. Steve will know more than me, but this is going right to YouTube, correct?
Right to YouTube, this one. It's not going to be an hour and a half. We don't have an unbelievable Declan Hill, just us two idiots to ramble on for this one.
Good. It's a perfect timing because I wasn't sure if this was going right to YouTube, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm super proud. I did my own sideburns. How good do they look? Like both of them. That's
Go,
like
go back. Yeah, they're very well done. For you're
I'm
doing it on your own, they're very well done, and they're better like the day when you had them fluffing over your ear.
yeah. Yeah, no, I'm actually proud of that. So the first thing I want to bring up is part of my hat and shirt celebration. Stuart Melvin, I'm going to give him a shout out. He's the secretary, the man who runs it all, the Rangers Supporters Club
Yeah.
in Ottawa. And he asked if we can get a congratulations from Steve and Jay on our title
Wow.
season.
Wow.
So I'm
How
going to honor Stuart's request and ask Steve to congratulate us.
how am I supposed to do that? And like, it's on the first show that goes to YouTube that people will see my face saying it from my family. I'll congratulate Steven Gerrard for an excellent job of reinstituting Rangers as a powerhouse club. Like that, you can't not say that guy hasn't come in and taken it to another level for a club that basically went bankrupt and had to drop down the leagues and restart from zero. And yes, it's Rangers, but that's still a tall task. And yes, I'll give them a congratulations for that, as much as it pains me. But that's well done. It pains me because it's he did it, and he should be even more of a legend because he stopped 10 in a row. Like
Yeah, that's
that's
huge.
absolutely massive.
Yeah. So Stuart, we got it. Appreciate you writing in. We gotta soak this in nicely. So I'm gonna flip from that to a quick fantasy update.
Oh,
It has changed. So leading the fantasy snobs pool is Len Gilchrist, former
wow.
Ottawa coach, uh,
Wow.
father of Andrew Gilchrist, who's a coach in my club with the Hornets. He's knocked Obasi off the top, who sits in second place. My Ukrainian sensation friend, Andrei Shwarek, is in third place. And I'm not sure, I don't know this guy, Angad Singh Riar. He's in fourth place.
Hmm.
And I don't know him, but if you do know us, send us a message and tell us where you're from.
Yeah.
And Jamie Ram, former Fury captain, has slipped into fifth place. So that's your top five for this week.
That's facts. Actually fascinating. Like people probably don't want to talk about fantasy sports, but like Jamie Ram was my pick. I love that he's sneaking back in there. And I want to just keep, well, I'm so happy that Len's top. I hope he wins, as a fellow Scot. Um, I wanted to mention we should talk. Obasi is back in Ottawa, right? If I'm not mistaken, and he's with the
Yep.
Futuro program.
He's with Futuro. Not sure the exact role he
Yeah,
is there, but I know he's got a big role there, and he's with the boys, I guess, every time they train. So
that's
yeah, that's a
awesome.
pretty good pull by Futuro.
Yeah, that's a great hire. Like, and if I'm not mistaken, he was either England futsal team, like youth level, or at some like he was at some high level. Because I remember when we were Fury PDL, we got a video of him playing futsal, and I know his technique. If anybody's ever watched that guy, is off the charts. So
Yeah,
what a great person to have at the youth level.
yeah, he's Futuro like all like born. Like that's what Futuro is.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
his feet are like
yeah.
ripped off and put on kids. That's what Futuro is. Yeah, so that's a good pull. Another quick announcement. I know there's like 50 announcements because we haven't had a snob show, but uh, the GoFundMe project for raising money for the underprivileged kids, or lacking money people, for lack of a better word, to help kids play this summer. That's GoFundMe's over. We've raised a good amount, and we'll be handing out the checks. Today is the 11th, so we'll be handing out the checks tomorrow, the 12th, to the clubs.
Yeah, so more to come. Watch on that. We'll definitely post on all social media, but we'll have the full amount at that time and each distribution to each club that we're going to give it out to. So we'll announce that maybe this weekend.
Yep. So that's that. And so I'm going to jump into a listener question real quick.
Love.
Um, and now I'm going to forget who, Rowley, I think, was it?
Was it the son or father? I think it was Vincent Rowley. I think it was the father.
Yeah, it was a
Vince.
high topic he'd love for us to talk about is the whole business around the
Oh,
college recruitment process.
yeah, it was Vince.
Yeah, so many people trying to milk the cow, showcase tournaments, private university ID camps, combines, agencies, SAT courses, private courses, all that kind of stuff. So we have touched upon some of this before, and I'll throw it to you. I mean, but I mean, some of these I can understand. If you're a university coach, like Kwesi, for example, Loney, who's joined us on air, Carleton coach, you are going to have some sort of combine to bring people in. And I think we would do that as well. You have to have a look at as many people as possible to uncover that gem.
For sure. That's the question. Just the
Well, yeah. The follow up question,
you
I was
just
hoping
stopped. It's like
you'd
you got
run
a
with
heart
it. Yeah,
attack
I
or
kind of
something.
stopped without, but here's the caveat for me,
Okay.
and I'll throw it to you.
Okay.
If you're going to have that, do you charge money? And that's where I think it loses people.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna sit on my high horse and say don't charge, but don't charge. I think you're going to university, like especially in Canadian schools where you're most likely ending up paying a lot more, and the scholarship route is obviously less. Just don't charge. See who comes. Find your gem, and that's your reward. I don't know what you're charging for. The stuff we talked about with Sean Holmes when he was on our show season 1 was illuminating when he was telling us that they are money grabs. I love that he's so honest like that, and probably why he got so many listens because people know what he's like. Most of them, yeah, they're money grabs. We saw it going through even PDL days because a lot of our guys would go back to their schools or off to pro camps and stuff. And, there's lots of these combines and tryout camps and stuff and invite coaches and,
Yeah.
they're not all bad for sure, but a lot of them are money grabs, and the college ones drive me nuts. If like when I was at Algonquin, I just wanted to find good players. Like I'm not looking to pocket an extra whatever. I want to build my program, and the same for Carleton, at the Carletons and the Ottawa U's and the bigger schools, you want to know who's there because it's such a big population that might not even know about soccer or that there's a team. There might be gems of people that came from wherever. So yeah,
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
grabs, money grabs.
Yeah. And it's funny, even like you said, with the pro programs, I see there's a Twitter handle, Money Grab FC, which if you don't follow that. It's hilarious
It is hilarious.
because they always tag and make fun of, like, I think I forget what club it was, like a Washington Spirit or something or other was advertising this big, come on out, come try and be a professional. Come on, we welcome everybody. They're doing all this. Come this time, and bring $350 as well. Like it's like,
And the
I
coach
don't
was
know.
like, the coach visited Southampton as a kid. Southampton is here. And it was like,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, exactly. And that's, I'm going to jump from this to that is we've seen, I don't know, Roma, this, like Roma's in Ottawa, Roma's got a camp in Ottawa, or even the Barcelona thing or whatever. It's like, are these really linked with the big club, and you're paying out the wazoo for your kids to get a Southampton top? And I don't know, these, stay away from, if you're a parent that wants the best from your kids, stay away from anything that has a huge club from Europe attached to it in Ottawa. Like, that's just my advice. I could be wrong and whatever, but that's, I mean,
I think you want to paraphrase it to like, like a huge club that just randomly comes for different things is one thing. A club investing in the city, like Atletico Madrid
oh
investing
yeah,
in Ottawa, is different. I think we want to make that distinction because they're definitely putting their money where their mouth is. So that to me is a different one. I would say that's coming in a different light. They want to actually grow the game. The other ones are like a dine and dash or a grab and run type thing, So that
yeah,
I would agree with. I think if a club came and did like a week camp with some
big
established
names,
coaches,
yeah,
not so bad, not so bad. But it does feel like they come here like we're dumb Canadians who won't know the difference.
Yeah.
You know,
So I
there are
guess,
themselves.
yeah, I guess the message is just look into it hard to make sure that it's legit, including combines, including anything that come here that are asking for your money. Make sure it's legit. Like there's a lot of deception going on in the soccer world, and I'm not saying Ottawa is doing it or anyone in Ottawa is doing it. I don't know, but
No,
just look for it because it's
no
out there.
different. It's no different than anywhere, but I do feel Canada probably gets that. Oh, we can go there and make a
Yeah,
quick buck.
I'm sure you can. Yeah. So here's a Caroline Chenard type question. I kind of wish she was up on that, but did you hear there's a referee in I think was it League One or anyway, I think it was League One, Ipswich, wherever Ipswich is now, and I think it's League One.
Yeah.
The referee squared up to a player, like right into his face and got into. So they were essentially like nose to nose, and the referee got suspended, and it was a big production, but like he was getting, the player, whatever, was mad, ran up to the referee like all angry, and the referee stood in his face. Why aren't they both suspended? I mean, just because the referee acted human for a second, because everybody, the referee in a soccer game is, and I'm going to throw it to you here, but it's like that textbook. Everybody's super tough, like hold me back until somebody actually steps into you. So if you're going to run at somebody, including a referee, like what do they both have to be suspended, or good for the referee for standing up for himself.
100% the player needs to be suspended. I would agree with you. Good for him for standing up for himself and acting unreferee like and just squaring up to a bully. I love that part. And so I think that's where you're coming from too. Like, I don't want him to get punished because I feel
Yeah,
like, you know what, good for you. Like almost vigilante like, but he is a ref.
yeah,
He's not supposed to. So he
yeah.
should be suspended, but also suspended with like this.
Yeah,
One of
exactly.
those, when
Yeah.
and he just gets a day off or something.
Yeah, it's like when your kid like stands up for himself and you have to pretend to discipline him, and he's walking by, you're like, get over here, go sit on that. While he's walking by, you're like, well done, man. That's
Like
like,
eating him an ice cream cone out of your shirt that just
yeah,
comes in
exactly.
ears.
And there was another thing that popped up in European soccer. This was a couple weeks ago, so bear with us. But I doubt many people will have heard. But Ajax were registering for the Europa League, to play their next whatever round of 32 game, and their record signing, who they signed in January, couldn't play because a clerical error. They forgot to register him for the team. Now, Steve and I know this firsthand. It hasn't happened in that way, but when we worked for the Fury, what was the most stressful part of game day?
Making sure you had the player cards and making sure you had the proper lineup. And it would we'd check our pockets every 36 seconds.
Yeah. Filling out that stupid vertical sheet with the numbers and like all the player cards matched and all. It was like the most stressful. And it's funny for anyone who's in administration in the soccer world listening to this, you are like you have the most stressful job on the face of the earth.
Awful. The worst was international clearances. I remember waiting for one player. I can't remember who.
Oh.
And we were waiting like all Thursday, all Friday, game on Saturday, buses leaving Friday at 6. And I remember waiting at my house, and the Fury lady was doing it. Melanie Ayrton was driving home to Perth. I stopped on the side of the Queensway to get the card because the fax just came in, which allowed her to stamp it, and then zoom to the bus downtown. So I wasn't late as the coach. All the players wanted to find me for being late. But I was like, I have his player card. It's so stressful. We were going to go over the border with this guy.
Yeah,
it's incredible how much that weighs on you.
Yeah, it really is. And every time we got to the border, sports teams, I don't know if this happens to all sports teams, but we always had to get ushered off the bus and put in this pig pen where we sat there for 45,000 years and waited for all the, I mean, I don't want to, it's kind of, a boring topic, but it just popped in my head. And I don't know if that happens to a lot of sports teams, but it happened to us.
I don't think that's boring at all. I don't know, maybe we're losing everybody, but I remember going over the border with U15 teams, and they would take every single soccer bag off and scan it through like the
Yeah.
most advanced, sophisticated scanner I've ever seen in my life. And all they were doing scanning six. Like I know I'm not naive to think things don't happen at the border, but holy cow, it felt like
Yeah.
overkill.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like we were there for sometimes hours, and
Oh,
we had to pay out of pocket for all these different
yeah.
like things, and anyway, it was crazy. But somebody at IX definitely got fired. I'll definitely say that
Oh
for
my
sure,
God. Yeah.
because that's unacceptable. So here's another semi weird question. Not a weird question, but Barcelona 1.5, 1.1 billion dollars in debt. Real Madrid $901 million in debt. They're both in like massive trouble. And here's my question: if you have and I don't know how to pronounce it, so we can all laugh at me when I do.
Yes.
La Masia, La Masia, whatever the hell the Barcelona Academy is called.
Maritimo.
Yeah.
Maritimo.
You have that. You've churned out a billion players. How do you go in debt this badly with an academy like that?
I don't know enough, so there's probably people out there who do. I hope they're listening and they can like chime in with comments or whatever. Something seems weird about Barcelona that way, specifically because of their academy over the last 20 years. It's the academies are up and down a lot of times, but something fishy's happening there. And I did read something today about some of the what goings on and the presidential scandal and all that stuff. Real Madrid, I guess you can expect more because they just buy.
Yeah.
But Barcelona feels a bit more fishy in that respect. That you've produced the Xavis and the Messis, and sure you got to pay them, but something seems weird there.
Yeah, it's weird because like I don't know, and even like if you just off the top of my head, it's like you buy Coutinho and then he's on loan for like 3 years at different players. You buy
Yeah.
this guy, it's like they have like 74 center backs that never play anymore. Like it's just mismanaged. It's just insane that a club that big with that academy can be in debt this. It just blows my mind. That's new age soccer, I guess. I don't know.
No, but it's mental, especially those two. And like, can you imagine if ever they were somehow, which it won't happen, they'll figure a way out of it and all the rest of it is, but if they were financially fair play hit or they were relegated leagues like Rangers, like what would happen? Like I'd
Well,
almost social experiment want to see how that goes.
yeah, well, I mean, look, I mean, exactly to your point. Like, if that was Southampton, they would be busted down in no time. Like Leeds United
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
dissolved. Rangers got busted down. I mean, maybe it's not the exact same situation, but when Juventus, remember they went down?
That was match fixing.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little different, but I mean,
Call Declan Hill and he'll talk to you about it.
yeah, but yeah, it just seems like these guys can get away. They probably will
Imagine
get away with it.
imagine them both out of the La Liga. Like let's just say they both get knocked down.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like that would be fun.
That would be amazing. What like you'd now get like the Spanish second division like highest ratings ever.
And just to see, like, I know Atletico's a power, so obviously they'd be favorites, but just to see like Valencia, Villarreal, these other teams like
Yeah,
become
that'd be
bigger,
sick.
right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep going on the Barcelona Real Madrid train. This is it's not a sports question. I'll keep it into soccer, but it is a sports question. Dynasties. Do you like dynasties or do you like it mixed and match? Like, do you like
Hmm.
when Real Madrid won like all those Champions Leagues, or like like or throw it to football when the Patriots were done. Like, do you like a good dynasty?
This is such a good question. Like you went into my brain and sat and watched like boring conversations about this. I want to cop out of the answer and say I do and I don't. I like when there's great teams like that. I'm getting in a weird place with soccer, football, because it's like the same teams are winning the leagues over and over again. Juventus always in Italy, Bayern always in like. I'd like to see some title races, and I don't mind there being powers, of course. So it's feeling a bit predictable in a lot of the leagues, very Scotland-esque in that way, where there's one or two at the top, and that's been the downfall of Scotland. I'm not sure if I want to go as far as some of the North American, where they take so many steps to make parity.
Yeah. Oh, I
And I
can't
know
stand
Jay would
it.
go on a rant that we all have heard a billion times about it right now. But so in that respect, I do like when dynasties happen. I like reading about like the Habs dynasty of the 50s when they won 5 cups in the 70s. And I do like that. So I would say I do, but I think there's like a point where 9 league titles in a row at Juventus and Serie A, 9 straight league titles. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe just because when I was growing up, it was such an incredible league, and you had AC, Inter, you had like Sampdoria that were an unbelievable team and won a
Yeah.
Scudetto, and then you had like Parma who didn't win one, but what a team they had when you look back. And so like that league was just littered with like the Napoli, like when they won their only 2 Scudettos with Maradona, and that league was off the chart. And now it's boring. It's 9
Yeah.
straight, and I'm glad this year there's a bit of a race here. It's good for the league, So I don't know if I even answered your question.
I don't even remember my
No, I don't
question.
know what it was. I was just having fun talking about soccer.
Yeah. No, but it's true. And that I'm gonna jump on your, like, I love a dynasty, but with a little bit more parity, not the MLS type parity or maybe, but a good dynasty is great when it's not a Bayern Munich, like now they've bought Upa Kayamo or whatever
Yeah,
from,
yeah.
it's just every year they buy like the 4 best players from Germany and just win. And same with in Italy, it's like, if there's anyone any good anywhere, like that Parma team just got plucked apart to
But I
death.
think what's happened lately, like I'm gonna jump in on you here. Like I think what's happened lately, what kills me a little bit, is soccer's always been like that, and all sports, those big teams will end up buying players, which you kind of expect. But there was always, like, in the past at least, players didn't leave so young. So like you had an Ajax side come through and they did get plucked apart, but at least they stayed together long enough. Like I think we may have talked about this before. The Ajax team from a few years ago in the Champions League, that team got plucked apart too soon. Like
Yeah.
Delit, these guys are like, it's too soon at these big clubs. And who am I to say it's too soon? But I am saying it. Like it is
Yeah.
too soon. Like those guys waited a little longer. Like you got these young power teams that change things, and then sometimes you even had them stick together longer.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
like they're being bought so young. Look at these kids from Brazil that are being bought. Real Madrid's buying us an 18-year-old Brazilian star every year. Like
Yeah. It's crazy.
I love what Neymar did. He stayed at Santos for a while. He could
Yeah.
have left 4 years prior to when he did. He stayed there. He established himself. He won something. He won the Copa America, like
Copa
Copa
Yeah.
Libertadores. And then
Yeah.
he left, and I like that path. That's just my personal
Yeah.
preference.
Well, think of that Ajax team. De Ligt in and out of that Juventus team. Van de Beek's, I don't know where he
Yeah,
is. I think he's in Solskjaer's basement.
he is. He's strapped to chains.
Yeah, like Ziyech is in and out of Chelsea.
Yeah.
Like all these guys left,
Even
and
De
now they're
Jong, like
just
he's
kind
a
of,
good player, but Barca, but like he's in a bad situation. He's not being like
yeah,
as touted as he was before. It's a tough one, and if you're in that boat, it's like I always get mad at people saying, "Oh, you can't leave
yeah,
university or college early for the pros and this and that." Like BS. If someone offers you $15 million
yeah,
to
for
leave
sure.
college early, you're gone. You're gone in a second.
Yeah,
And you don't be ignorant. Those people are going to get hurt, and if they get hurt in their senior year, they lose that money. So you go. So I can't judge, but
but it just sucks. It
it
just
does
sucks
suck.
because we wanted to see that
It does
Ajax
suck.
team for like 2 more years.
Yeah, I want
Like,
Real Madrid to buy them when they're older.
yeah, and so they can play, like, instead of buy them and just ruin them, and then
Yeah.
they end up going back eventually, like Blind. Remember, he came to United. He was in and out, but everyone hated him, and
Yeah.
then he was a center back in the Champions League semifinal. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's
just
like the Barca thing you were talking about. The article I actually was reading about their issues, and they were saying some of their bad buys. They had these 2 Brazilians. I remember Henrique and I'll never pronounce it right, Carrison or Carrison or something. Both came, never played a game for Barca. Both were like so highly touted, and it's just done. So it's a bit of you've got to walk a tough line there.
Yeah, but like you said, if you're playing for, as a team in Brazil and somebody's like, okay, well, here, I'll give you a 5-year deal with millions of dollars, you cannot say no. You have to do it. It's like Balou Tabla, for the Canadian listeners there, doing so well at the Impact. Like, he was so young, like 17, 18, getting first team soccer in MLS, and then the whisper of Barcelona that he gets bought, he goes to Barca B on loan to, I don't know, Albacete or this, that, and now where is he? He's back at Montreal, can barely get a game. Like, it's hard. It's
It is
hard.
hard.
And I don't blame him, because who's
No,
going to say no to that?
no.
But these, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the money's too big with the big teams, or the lure. I don't know. It's just, it's
Tough call.
ruining careers. Like, cause this guy's career, he's in the Olympic squad, which will be super interesting for Canada. Like,
Yeah, why don't you
how
talk about
cool,
that a bit?
huh?
Why don't you talk about that a bit?
Yeah. The Olympic team.
Yeah, I guess like that was the worst hint at like telling people we're gonna do Olympic shows. Like
Yeah.
that was awful. I
Yeah.
was like, talk
Like,
talk stuff about things. Like so
yeah.
bad. I didn't
So
even say
we
it
won't
right.
get into that right now, the Balut Tabla too deep, but we are breaking news for the snobs. We're for the Olympics and the World Cup qualifiers coming up in March. We're going to do specific shows breaking down each and every Canada game in the U23s and the World Cup qualifier. So stay tuned for those. We'll be going on air fresh after those games. So I'm looking forward to that. Like, this is everything. Canada U23 and World Cup. Come on.
What's that guy's name? Because you can't pronounce anything and you say that so well. Say it.
Balut Tabla. It's my French Canadian heritage, I guess. It's
Incredible.
just, yeah. 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 So I'm going to bring this up to you as a coach. This is a coach question. And I forgot to ask Stephen Hart when we did his episode, but okay, we talked about players not being ready to go on.
Oh,
You know, it's like they got to do like a stretch, like a Jane Fonda quick thing, like when they got to go on quick. Why aren't all the substitutes on the bench on an exercise bike? Is that a good question?
I
Why
don't
aren't they
know.
keeping warm like that? They're
Feels
keeping
like
warm.
it feels like a dumb question because I immediately picture the Senators in the post-game interview.
Yeah, but what about during, like, that way they're not, I know they warm up on the side in like this little thing of grass, but like right from the get-go, right from the first whistle, they start on their bike. You know, they're going. And then
I'm gonna one up the question since you dropped your mic like in a not even in a cool way, like a mic drop. Why isn't the assistant coach ensuring that whoever needs to go on is ready to go on? Like, why don't we
there's
blame
a
them as well?
yeah, there's a disconnect between like coaches and substitutes.
Oh.
Something is wrong and nobody's fixing it. I
And then
feel
you
like we're,
see, you just see,
yeah,
and
yeah,
they're
exactly.
showing them where to go in the set, and the guy's
Yeah,
like this, and you can see the players like that. Why
yeah,
hasn't he done it already?
yeah. It's crazy. It's, I don't know.
There's
There's a
last minute
disconnect
ones
there.
for sure, but they're not all. Why are they all like this?
Yeah, it's frantic. They're all frantic. They
Frantic.
don't know what's happening. He's putting his shin pad into his sleeve. He's confused. Nobody knows what's happening. It's bonkers. I don't know what is happening, but I'm gonna say this now, March, I don't know, 11th, 2021. Bikes on the sidelines, coaches. It's not hard. Everybody on a bike,
I feel like that's
fully
not right.
dressed.
Come on, I start the game and I'm biking.
Yes.
Don't. But
Yeah.
isn't the point of a sub to be fresh?
Yeah, but a light bike. And you don't have to fake stretch for 40 minutes in the corner like they all do. And they all want to watch the game. So point the bike to the game.
Okay,
And now
I'm
you're
not.
fresh.
I'm not off your bike train here. I'm not fully on it.
Yeah.
Maybe I could go with like as of halftime. You're doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say
25 minutes. We'll
why?
over
Why? There's
under
so how many
25.
subs do you see in a first half? Like there's so
Injuries. I'm
few.
thinking injuries. I don't know.
Sure,
You know
you're
what?
right. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I would concede like a good marriage and give you 25 minutes. Like leave the
Yeah,
guys alone for a little bit. They're probably mad they're not starting. Like, and then they
that's true.
go up and Mark's like, get on your bike, like the bicycle in the
Yeah,
Old
that's
Trafford.
true.
And they're in the stands on bikes, like the crowds around them. There's the worst idea ever, but it could be like this revolutionary, like dumb thought that
I
you've
think all genius ideas get laughed at first.
oh,
So here's my question, and I never knew this answer, and this might be exposing how stupid I am. But when you watch a game,
you've been exposed by now.
yeah, and there's, you know, like the two different colors of grass that are like
Yeah.
in there, or do you know how that gets there?
Oh, I hate that you did that. I have no idea. It fascinates me. To me, it's like magic. It's like caramel in the caramel bar. I don't know the secret, and
Yeah.
it fascinates me. How do they do it? I
Do
even
you know?
like, a neighbor down my street did it, and I was too scared to ask him. I'm like, oh, that's neat.
I looked it up online, and it might be wrong, but numerous places said the same thing. It's only the way you cut the grass. So if they're cutting this way, like if you're cutting north, it's going to be one color. And then when you come back south, because it's the sun reflection. So
How
it's
come that
not.
doesn't happen in my backyard? I go like this all the way back and forth, but I turn around.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's what I read, and that's what it is. There's no way it's two different colors. That's what.
But
But if
there's
you
no way
know,
it's that specific. It's so
yeah,
specific. And then when they do lines like this,
yeah, like that's the riding mower going finishing up in a. I don't know, but if somebody knows that this is wrong, let us know. But that's
no,
what
I know.
my research says.
I think your research is wrong. I'm going to say
It
it's
might be.
the length they cut it at. I'm going to say they cut it this way at one length, and then the riding mower guy puts it up a little and they go back the other way or circles. I'm going to go with length.
Interesting. All right. Well, if anybody knows, you know what? Hey, I'm going to write this down. Maybe we can find some sort of social
So,
media.
well,
So
this is going
comment
on.
below.
This is going, yes.
Yeah, there you go. I learned that from my kids. Like they're all I hear
While
is
we're talking, somebody's already figured out what you couldn't and hopefully typed a comment to tell us how this
yeah,
works.
done. Now, this one is a youth coaching question
All right.
for the youth coaches out there, but it's for you. I know now youth coaches and the one even my team, we all have the same training jersey. We all wear like green Hornet tops, and it's easier for coaches. I know to separate. I know that, but my question is, my son has like 7 cool soccer jerseys. Remember when you were a kid? I used to show up to soccer practice in like my Rangers top or like this cool Brazil top that my parents bought me. Like, and you show it to your friend, you're proud as punch to wear it to practice. Have we, I feel like we're missing that. Like
Yes.
my son asks me, can I wear my Croatia one today? And I'm like, oh, you got to put on this green, like, are we missing that?
100%. Couldn't agree more. And I do it. And like whoever at WASC is listening to me right now might fire me, but I tell them days to wear their jerseys because it's like I'm coaching U11. They're still at that age. You get 14, 15, 16. Like I get it. They don't necessarily need that. They're kind of past that. But I remember every new Celtic top I got, I wore it.
Yeah.
Every time I was so happy. Like my son got a jersey in Costa Rica. So it's like no one's got a Costa Rica team jersey. And it's like a cool, sick jersey. So he wore it. And Kwame from Cap City Beats, who I coach with, was like, whoa, what a jersey. I could see Liam's like ego. And he's like, yeah. Like, let them wear it. I get why. And you're right. And it's pro and it's whatever. But it's also part of the fun and the love of playing. Like, I want my soccer jersey on when I'm that age.
Yeah, and you know what? And like the kids who don't have a soccer jersey, sometimes like the hockey kids come and play for a summer, and there's nothing wrong with that. They love it, but maybe they've never watched a game or they don't know. But now they see other kids who are in, and then maybe for their birthday, they're like, Mom, can I get a soccer jersey or something? And now they've got one, and now they can love soccer even more.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Like I'm trying to think of the negative and like not just the soccer snob angle of that. But I think it actually helps the game grow. Like if we're battling for athletes, you might get exactly what you said. That might happen once in a team only, that you might get that good athlete to be a soccer fan now.
Yeah, exactly.
Soccer. I had a kid pick soccer practice over hockey the other day, and he plays a high level of hockey. I don't know if I told you. I told Jay. I wept.
Yeah.
I was so happy. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And like the parents, like, he made his choice. And I was like, he made his choice.
Yeah.
I was like so proud.
Yeah. No, I love that. I have a bunch of hockey kids that come back for the summers, and I'm not going to punish them for that because I love multi-sport athletes. Like I don't care. You know what I mean? Like it's whatever.
For sure.
But I always joke with their dads. I'm like, take off that hockey hat. Like like we make jokes, and I would love for one of those kids.
Yeah.
To now wear a soccer, that'd be so sick. Anyway, that's
no, I think it's a really, like, I think about it quite a lot actually, and I do honestly, I'm not just saying it to answer the question perfectly, but I do have days where I tell them to do that. What I'd love to be at a point, but it's probably maybe too much in Canada, is to be like, you four wear this jersey, like, and have them play each other. But like that's like the oasis of probably being a coach in Europe where they all have jerseys.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here's now that I realize the comments, which is even better. I'll ask you. It's kind of on the spot and probably impossible, but I figure for every Snobs YouTube episode we do, I want to ask everybody for their best comment below. Put your best five-a-side Premier League team
Oh,
in the comments. So
such a
I'll
good
ask
question.
Steve I'll give him 4 minutes, a couple of seconds to think about it, so he can give his quick. But he can think about it and comment in there, and so will I. But so
That's a great.
five players from the Premier League, any of the 20 teams in the Premier League, a goalie, and four players. Anyone to enter a tournament, the five you want, a goalie and four players. So comment below with your five-a-side team.
So
Can
we're
you
like,
ring one off this quick?
I'll try. We're gonna end with this because this is fantastic.
We'll end with there's a few more, just a quick
Okay.
announcements or whatever. But yeah,
Okay, because I don't want to take forever. But I'm a homer. Like all my answers come straight from Liverpool right off the bat, which, oh, it's Liverpool. They're terrible right now. So I'll try not to go all of them. The first name always comes to my mind is Van Dijk. So I have to put him in. I think he can do anything. He's my defender. Oh my God.
yeah, it's tough.
It's
You
hard.
you need to keep the best keeper with feet too, right? Because
Well,
it's
it's Allison or
indoors.
Ederson. But am I forgetting someone in the Premier? You know who I like? I like the Chelsea goalie.
Yeah, that's
What's
another
his
one
name?
too. Mendy.
Mendy. I'm going to go
Yeah.
Mendy just to not be a homer. Van Dyke. I think Mendy's feet are fantastic.
Yeah.
Mendy, Van Dyke, Fabinho, that's 3. De Bruyne, 4. Oh,
Wow. You're going heavy defense, like Fabinho and Van Dyke. For me, like what popped in my head is just like four twinkly toes
you
that
know
are just
why?
gonna.
Because I think Fabinho can do it all. And I think Van Dyke
Yeah.
will shut everything down. And then I'm going to let De Bruyne do whatever the hell he wants. And I'm going to go. This is a controversial one, but this is a homer one for sure. Mane, because I think he can do everything and score. I think that team can just do anything. But I
Wow.
don't have
I'm
a
not.
sniffer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the team,
I know.
but
Terrible team.
ringing it off the top of your head is tough
Yeah.
because. But we'll both go on and post ours as well on there. Um,
Damn it. I'm so mad. And you're copying it because you're not doing it either. Go ahead, Mr.
I'm
Go
not
ahead,
even gonna,
Mr. Host.
I'm not even gonna try. All I can think in my head is like I want to find like a Ronaldo, like a Wilfred Zaha would probably be on my team, just like
That's a good call, actually.
someone like that. I want to say Bruno Fernandes too, but
Not to me.
yeah, he's not like a Rafinha from Leeds, even someone like
Love
that.
Rafinha.
Like
Oh, I love that player.
that. But Van Dyke is going to be standing
You
at the
have to
back
have
for
Van
me,
Dyke.
no matter what.
He's a
Yeah,
colossus who can play.
yeah, for sure. Um, Here's what we'll do. I want to wrap it up, but there's a kind of a long wrap up. So I'll skip all this. Do you want to, you know what? Maybe I'll save this segment for different segment for a different time. But
David. People are watching on this for the first time. They're probably like, stop, guys.
yeah. A podcast recommendation, Freddie Edu. Please listen to that podcast. It is so good. Like he's been out of the media forever. He doesn't do interviews. He chose never to do interviews because of his situation and story. But Grant Wall, I'm sure you all know him, like reporter. He's now got it's like 8 episodes actually. It's called Freddie Adu, American Prodigy.
Wow.
It's fantastic. Freddie Adu for the first time sits down and talks about his career. It talks to all his former teammates, his coaches, his youth coaches.
Wow.
It's sick, man. I'm on episode 7,
Oh my
and
God.
I'm like, it's
Just
so
kill me
good.
with that. That's the best recommendation anybody's ever done ever. I want you to recommend something about me for some people, like these
Yeah, so
glasses or something. Tell them how
yeah,
good they are.
check
That's a
that out.
great
And
call. You know what? I'm going to jump in just quick and just to say we were on actually a podcast. We got invited on. So there's 2 people out there dumber than us, and they invited us on. It's a podcast from Leeds called The Outsiders. I had a fantastic time on it. I'll post something about it on our social media so people at the link. Fascinating guys, I thought. It was very enjoyable.
big time. We'll have them on. Maybe we'll have them on a YouTube channel. We'll do the 5-a-side or something with them. I'm sure they'd love that. So, anyway, that's our first YouTube episode. So don't forget to comment with your five-a-side team below, and we're gonna pick the two best teams, and come on, and we'll have we'll talk about the two best teams and who we think would win.
I like
5v5
So
final.
let's just review. Only Premiership players.
Only Premiership players from the 20 Premier League teams. Okay. And every week we'll change. We'll go to the Spanish league. We'll go to Italy. We'll do all the leagues that we can, all the way down to like the Ukrainian league.
I'm interested to see. I like that we've been given by you godlike power to pick the two top teams, and I like that we can battle them. You pick one and I pick one.
Yes, great idea.
And the viewer.
And then we'll do a poll and see. Yeah,
I think that's amazing.
It's like we keep building. We're gonna do a poll.
And then we'll play five-a-side. We'll get them in a game in Ottawa. We'll get them here at TD Place. And then the two guys who pick the team, they'll coach the teams. It'll be so good, and they'll get their autographs.
Yeah, it just keeps building.
So stupid. Anyways, let's hope we get two teams in the comments.
Yeah. It's my team against your team.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. And take care.